Well, why else did Jesus pick the wedding analogy? And I think it's because Jesus' love for us is incomprehensible. We can't comprehend how much Jesus loves us. His love for us is everlasting. It's way better than any earthly marriage could ever be. And Jesus used the wedding metaphor a bunch in his ministry. And we're looking today at John chapter 2, the wedding at Canaan, but in Matthew chapter 9, verse 15, he referred to himself as the bridegroom. In Matthew chapter 22, he gave the parable of the wedding feast. In Matthew chapter 25, he gave the parable of the 10 virgins. 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. In Revelation chapter 19, verses 7 through 9, he talks about the marriage supper of the Lamb right before the Battle of Armageddon. Jesus' ministry began with a wedding, and his ministry really won't end, but the tribulation ends right before the Battle of Armageddon with that marriage supper. Jesus' unfathomable love for us will continue forever. Here's some more truths in that verse. On the third day, there was a wedding in Cana of Galilee. You say, well, what's the big deal about that? The big deal about that is it was not in Jerusalem. Because if it had been in Jerusalem, everybody would have said, oh yeah, well, all of this circumstance and pomp and everything, that's just for the Jews. But no, he picked a place outside of Jerusalem. Salvation is not just for the Jews. Salvation is for everyone. Paul put it this way, Romans 1:16. He said, I'm not ashamed. He chose to not be ashamed. I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes, to the Jew first, but also to the Gentiles, to the Greeks, to the non-Jewish people. What's my point? My point is you've not been left out. You haven't been left out. That's why the wedding was in Cana. You haven't been left out. Jesus is calling to you. He's calling to you. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. And if anyone hears my voice, so he's calling, I will come in and sup with him and he with me. Jesus is calling. He wants you to be in his family.